please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're going to be doing a response video. I figured we'd take a little break from the article coverage because last week a lot of effort was put in, and I wanted to have a little bit of a break from something that did oh so well. The subject matter of the day comes from the TikTok account of More Than Tracy T and concerns dating preferences. Over the years, we've covered many individuals who have spoken about dating preferences on the main channel Omegon. A lot of them seem to just want to take headshots at those that are cis, white, and het. Essentially, cisgendered, white, heterosexual. Because those people are haram, and they must line up and get blacked at the very first opportunity. I saw this via Alan Roberts on Twitter, who was retweeted by It's Julian the Baker. I'm not going to read their tweets yet though, but we shall get to those tweets at some point.
If you do not date fat people because you just happen to view fatness as neutral but not be particularly attracted to it, fine. That's a preference.
You know, I'm glad we can agree on something. Preferences aren't wrong, but of course the very idea of a preference can be interpreted as wrong depending on your perspective of things. I personally take no issue with anyone being any size. I don't generally do the whole fraternizing with subordinates, though. I like to abide the mantra of no lives matter, which makes it a whole lot easier if I just think none of you matter, unless you're watching my content, and then I like you, for as long as you watch my content. Subscribe.
If you don't date fat people because you think being fat means that they are gross, lazy, live an unhealthy lifestyle, or are embarrassing to be seen with in public, that's fatphobic.
See, now I can bring the tweets from earlier that I mentioned but didn't show into the video. Alan Roberts, do her or you are a bigot. Underneath, doesn't this perpetuate rape culture by shaming men into doing them? Sex through being called a bigot is removing their capacity to consent through coercion and or blackmail. Tree of knowledge. Alan, I'll just stick with option A, but maybe not the sense she would prefer. Angel, well, I'd rather be called a bigot and fatphobic than be incompatible and not attracted to my husband. Julian retweeted Alan with the projection displayed in her claims of what other people think. Eye roll emoji ×3. Ma'am, why are you policing what preferences someone has? If someone wants to F you, they will. If they don't, then they don't. It's that simple. Response underneath, no means no, my body, my choice, huh? Anyone has the right to turn down anyone else, and doesn't even have to give a reasonable explanation. No is enough. I think we need to talk about what fatphobic is. A cute way of pigeonholing other people who don't want to do you for all the reasons you mentioned, plus many more. Individuals' personal preferences and choices are key. Some, many, are not attracted to those who are super morbidly obese, those that are obese, those that are overweight. Many are not attracted to those on the other end of this who are super skinny. Body type is important. Everyone has one, whether they want to admit it or not. Some won't admit it because they know they'll be called a word which indicates they are in some manner a bigot. If you are gross, lazy, unhealthy, embarrassing to be seen in public with, chances are you are not attractive to anyone. No one's going to want to knowingly date someone that is gross, are they? Are they going to want to be with someone they know is lazy, knowing that person is not going to be there for them? And also, those traits are not exclusive to those that are overweight in some manner, are they? You see what I've done here? I've boing-flipped it right back at you. You're an idiot.
But to insist your preference is for people who aren't lazy, sloppy, and disgusting and unhealthy.
See what I mean about how you've managed to change the perspective for what a preference is? But you've also really latched onto the idea that to be fat is to be all those other negative traits. Yes, I'm indicating that being fat is also negative. I'm sure many people don't mind a little thick extra C's, and there's nothing wrong with all the thick extra C's. But there is a limit to how many C's some are willing to put up with, especially if you happen to be gross, lazy, and live unhealthily. By choice, that is.
Meaning, that means you prefer skinny people because all fat people are those other things?
You realize in this context that not everything is strictly binary of skinny and or fat. There are many different body shapes and body sizes. If you weren't so narrow-minded and I looked at your TikTok, you are definitely that, you'd know this. Again, it isn't as simple as skinny or fat. You're very desperate to, well, shame, I guess. Is that it? Yeah, it is shaming in some manner. Very desperate to latch onto it as a means of, and call someone wrong for having a preference. How dare they not want to stick their peen in you? How dare they? They should all line up now and shower you with the almighty golden godly quacker rod.
That's actually bigoted. That's actually deciding that one group is all the same because of how they look.
That is to an extent true, but I don't think anyone's thinking, oh my god, you're gross because you're fat. Oh god, you look lazy because you're fat. You look unhealthy because you're fat. Okay, that one's true. Okay, that one's true. Blame your thyroid issues if you want. In this context, we're still true. Whatever the last one was, I can't remember. It is more than likely true regardless of what it actually was. How it is bigoted though is quite funny because it is a really, and this is where TikTok fail massively, a really weak tea attempt trying to say, look, I'm single as a Pringle, even though Pringles are never sold in singles, you need to make me feel like a Pringle in a tube, surrounded by lots of fellow Pringles. And they can all pop me until, I feel gross, lazy, unhealthy, because you're clearly a sub.
Hope that makes sense.
Yes, it made perfect sense. You told me you were stupid without telling me you were stupid. I am so proud of you. Now, as this video is not long enough, I found another one of your videos. I thought, let's have a look at that as well. A response of your own to a comment. I like this already.
I think sometimes men perceive like a bit of a cultural obligation to do this too because
they don't want to get their ass whooped by the fat girl. They don't want to get beaten up and have to tell the police it was because they said, yeah, you're fat, or you're not fat, just because they're attracted to you, according to the comment. And yes, I have paraphrased it to suit my message in this video.
There's like that cliche of the husband and wife getting ready to go out and the wife puts on a dress and is like, does this make me look fat?
As many guys would undoubtedly not want to go out, order takeaway instead, or go to a fast food restaurant. The answer should be yes, because then they know they'll get a nice peaceful night, and eventually future them will have to deal with the fact their wife is raging that they called their wife fat. I would then of course want to maintain that peace and quiet, so the following day, when you apologize, also give them a gym membership paid up for a full year, and some spanks. They're gonna need them.
And everybody knows the correct answer for the husband is no, how could anything ever make you look fat? You're so beautiful, right?
I'm starting to understand why I've never been married.
And so there becomes this idea that you can't ever tell a girl she looks fat or like refer to her as anything but skinny.
There you are with that binary thing again. But that's not what I want to latch onto. Actually, it's the idea of saying, do I look fat in this dress? The thing is, if you've bought a dress and it doesn't suit your body type, you're going to look odd in it. It's not going to suit you. It's why many different dresses, skirts, trousers, hoodies, t-shirts, and all the other clothing items, suit differing types of body. If you look plumpy in a dress when you really shouldn't look as plumpy as you ordinarily are, it's more than likely because you bought the wrong kind of dress. So does it make you look fat as if fat is negative? The answer should be yes, but if you can't handle the fact that you bought a dress that you like the look of that doesn't look good on you, that sounds an awful lot like a you problem and you being far too sensitive to handle a bit of criticism from somebody you marry. The guy only says, no dear, because he can't be arsed with your bitching and moaning, whining, complaining. The cliche responses from the overly sensitive types who can't handle that they don't look good in something they bought.
Because she'll perceive that as an insult and she will get mad at you.
So nothing new there then, even with your patronizing way of saying it.
But the root problem is the same, which is that we as a society have so strongly associated fat with like bad, ugly, everything negative, that people now think that fat just means bad.
Not entirely true. Take movies, for example. Things that are bad typically are straight white English men. They make fantastic villains, don't you think? Also, being fat, in my mind, isn't necessarily bad. Why? Because it's your body, your choice. Do whatever you want with it. You only get one shot at life. If you want to spend it that way, that's your decision. I'm just not going to waste much in the way of energy trying to change your mind, because no doubt you'll have every excuse for why you can't live the longest, fullest, happiest of lives. And don't try and tell me the longest, fullest, happiest of your life, or version of it, is you eating at a buffet table as many helpings as you can. barely fitting into the 2 seats that have been put next to each other just so you can sit each cheek down, or the fact that to weigh yourself you need to go to the vets, or the zoos, or to have a bath you go to a car wash.
And if you call someone fat, you're calling them bad. And if you tell someone you're not fat, what you really mean is you're not bad.
I love it when someone talks logic. It makes like amazeballs sense, and I'm like all here for that. It's a real moment situation type of deal thing. I like it. Was a sarcasm sign required for that as well?